Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call a meeting to order and acknowledge that we're in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu Cree, and Dakota peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation and Treaty 3 territory. My name is Neil Harden. I'm chairing today's panel. With me are Diane Knight and Cynthia Stevens. The recording secretary today is Crystal Harland, and the assessor is Matthew Harling. We will be hearing applications for revision of the business assessment rule in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application and will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony. Anyone speaking in the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the board. The board is appointed annually by council and is independent of it in the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions the applicant may have, then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You'll receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live stream recorded and will be part of the public record. We will hear items 4 and 8 on our docket today. Mrs. Harlan, please affirm the assessor's and applicant's testimony.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Assessor, would you please state your full name?
Matthew Harley?
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, would you please state your full name?
My name is Jared Story.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
You were kind of
Thank
faint
you.
there, Jared. You,
Oh, is that
maybe.
hold on. Is that better?
That's better, yes.
Oh, okay, perfect.
All right, so the first property today is 900 Narren Avenue. So, Mr. Harleen, you can begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The file number is 24-4828. Again, as indicated, the address is 900 Narren Avenue. The business assessment ID is 23378. And the owners or the business name and owners are Midland Foods, Winnipeg Incorporated. The 2025 business assessment value based on a reference date of April 1st, 2023 has a total annual rent value of $225,180. If you look below under my brief here, under the subject bid, we'll see that's the bid, and that's the one premise we have on file. Again, the address is 900 Narren Avenue. The premise area is 18,812 square feet, and we are applying a base annual rent value of $174,387, which equates to a base annual rent value per square foot at $9.27 a square foot. If we look beside that, we'll see the occupancy costs. We see we're assessing the full areas of heat, electricity, water, and air conditioning for the occupancy costs, which equates to a total, total occupancy costs of $50,792. And if we add that together with the base annual rent value, we get a total annual rent value of $225,180. If we look below into the subject lease information, we'll see this is owner occupied. Below that, we'll see my rent comparables. So I have 6 rent comparables here. We'll see. So I have 616 King Edward, 171 Cole, 1395 Naaqua, 130 Wyatt Street, a road, 1100 King Edward Street, and then 1256 Sherwin. These start dates range from June 2019 to May 2022. These terms are 1 to 10 years. The reported areas range from 10,000 square feet to 21,080 square feet. And the reported rents range from $9 a square foot to $13.50 a square foot. For page 2 of my brief, we'll just see where the subject's located. As indicated, this is on Aaron Avenue, so you just can get an idea of the surrounding area. Turn to page 3, you'll just see another photo. This is just more zoomed in, just again where it's situated on Aaron Avenue, where you can see the little red dot. Okay, now if we turn to page 4 of my brief, you'll just see the overhead view of the subject property. So you can see here again 900 Aaron. Turn to page 5 of my brief, you'll see here again another photo of the subject. So they're 900 Aaron, and this is facing Aaron Avenue, so you can see the building. So we have a bit of some office space and then some warehouse space in the back. And then we go to page 6, you'll just see a further photo of the subject property here, just to get the picture of the property in its entirety. And then lastly, just on page 7 here, I just have a floor plan. So this is the warehouse, or sorry, this is the office space, and then behind it would be the warehouse space, which is used for predominantly freezers and coolers storage space. So that being said, I believe that concludes my presentation. I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Okay, questions, Mr. Story?
Yes, sir. Mr. Harling, can we agree that the rental value here that you're proposing does not align with the board's order with respect to the realty decision? Is that a fair comment?
Yes, the realty decision would not. There was a different rent applied for the realty decision. Correct.
And just for the board's edification, that rent was indeed $750 per foot. Correct.
As far as my knowledge, I believe that is the case. Yes.
Okay. I think I'll leave it there, Mr. Chair. Those are my questions. Thank you, Mr. Harling.
Okay, Ms. Knight, any questions?
Yeah, just to Mr. Story, what was the rent on the other thing?
$750 per foot was ordered by the board relative to the corresponding realty appeal. So it was
Okay.
$750 a foot. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to know on your comparables, which one is closest to Narran Avenue?
Give me a moment. The closest one would be with 171 Cole Avenue. So I'm mindful some of the other ones are in different locations, such as King Edward, and so 171 Cole will be the closest. But yes.
And where is Wyatt Road?
That's more in the Inkster Industrial area or Inkster Industrial Park. So
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Stevens.
Okay, I'll try to get this out. So your comps, other than the one, are all lower than the subject. Is there a reason why you didn't lower this then?
I apologize. Like the comparables are why my comparables are higher than the model rent. I guess you're saying, sorry, or
Yeah. Well, oh yes, sorry. I was looking at the you know what? Ignore that. I was looking at the wrong number.
oh, no problem, no problem.
So no, you're actually about the same, but with the realty rent, is there a reason why you didn't lower it?
I mean, obviously, I'm mindful of the fact of the board decision, but I guess it's a situation where we maybe had disagreement or just a different thought process of what the decision was. So,
okay, thank you.
Okay, did the city appeal the realty decision?
I don't have that knowledge at this moment. I unfortunately I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no because I don't have the information at this time. So.
Oh, okay. Then, Mr. Story, your presentation.
Yes, thank you, sir. So once again, we are at 900 Nairn. This is Midland Foods. This is an owner-occupied property. We are requesting a value today for the business assessment of $191,880. And again, Mr. Chair, that is predicated on the request that the rent that was applied in the realty decision continue to be applied in this corresponding business assessment. So I've included the description. This is all from the information that was presented to the board as part of the realty appeal, as were these rents. So the rental comps that I've included here are precisely the same rental comps that were put before the board in order to inform their decision on the realty. And of course, you can see that those net rents per square foot have an average of $671, a median of $650, and the agent attending to that realty appeal applied $7.50 per foot. It was not my appeal, but in going through the file, we can see very clearly that $7.50 was indeed applied. The property has been assessed with full finishing, so heat, hydro, water, and air conditioning have been applied to the entire 18,812 feet. And you can see the work up there on page 6, which again leads us to a rounded value of $191,880. I've also included the assessor's workup, and then I included the workup that was included. These are the excerpts from both the city, from both the applicant and city briefs. So you can see our position that was put to the board, and the position, the starting position that the city applied. And you can see, of course, that decision is on page 12 and 13, and it talks about an adjusted NOI of $134.94 with a cap of 7%. Now, our figures don't precisely align, but I was able to watch a portion of the hearing where the question of the vacancy came into play. So Mr. Navarro from our firm handled this appeal. I believe it was with Mr. Harling. Yes, indeed, based on that order. And during the course of that hearing, Mr. Navarro mentioned that he was that he did not have a major issue with the vacancy rate of 3% that was applied by the city, though he had initially applied 4% going in. So I've reconstructed the board's order based on my review of the tape. Effectively, I watched the hearing back to determine how that specific NOI of $134.94 was determined. And if you follow on page 14, you can see I've highlighted that vacancy rate and adjusted it from 4% to 3%. And I believe that is how that NOI of $134.94 was determined. And that, of course, aligns precisely to the order. So, Mr. Chair, we are requesting that once again that the business assessment follow the realty, and based on that order of $7.50 a foot, we respectfully submit that the BA ought not to exceed $191,880. And with that, I'm happy to take your questions, and I thank you.
Questions, Mr. Harling?
I was just gonna ask you about that workup, but I just see it here. So, that's, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Stevens,
No questions.
Ms. Knight.
I'm not sure who this question actually goes to, but if the city was going to take the December 20th decision and try to get back their $927 per square foot, how long do they have to do that?
If they were to appeal the board's order from the
Yes.
realty, they would
Yes.
have 20 or 21 days.
Yeah,
About
21 days. That's
21
correct.
days. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, and we don't know if that's been appealed or?
In honesty, I don't believe it has, but I don't want to. I don't want to I didn't check. Unfortunately, I'd have to check, but to my knowledge, I don't believe it has at this point.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, and I've got no questions that haven't been asked and answered. So thank you. Let's move on to our final property, which is 2049 Dugald Road. So you can begin, Mr. Harling.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the file number is 24-4831. The again, address is 2049 Dugald Road. The business assessment ID is 24019. The business name is Crescent Multi Foods, and the owners are the Northwest Company Incorporated. The 2025 business assessment based on the reference date of 1st, 2023 is a total annual rent value of $195,720. Okay, so we look below my brief here under the subject bid. We'll see if there's the bid, and there's one premise. Again, the address 2049 Dugald Road. We have a total premise area of 24,720 square feet and a base annual rent value of $137,443, which equates to a base annual rent value on a square foot basis at $556. If you look at the occupancy cost, we'll see we're assessing heat, electricity, water for the full area, and we're only assessing 1,275 square feet for air conditioning, which equates to a total occupancy costs of $58,304. And if we add that to the base annual rent value, again, gets the total annual rent value of $195,720. If we look below that under subject lease information, this is not owner occupied. There is a lease in place. I have the mailer in the back of my brief, which I'll go to when I get to the brief there. Under rent comparables here, you can see my rent comparables. I'm not going to go through every single one, but you can see the list of the comparables. There's 10 here. You can see the different addresses here they're located. Lease start dates range from November 2020 to February 2023. Lease terms range from 1 to 10 years. Reported areas range from 12,000 square feet to 32,354 square feet. And the reported rents range from $5.95 a square foot to $9.50. Okay, so if we turn to page 2 of my brief, we'll see the location of the property as indicated. It's on 2049 Dugald. So you can see where it's situated here. Just fronting Dugald, and then on the corner route would be Plessis Road. Page 3 of my brief just gives you better zoomed in photos. Again, Dugald Road, and you can see it just corners Plessis Road as indicated. If we turn to page 4 of my brief, it's just a photo of the subject property. So it's kind of the L shape. It's with the outline of the property. Page 5, this is just a photo of the subject property from facing Dugald Road. And then page 6 of my brief, this is just for the photo of property for where the loading area is, as you can see here. Page 7 here, this is just the floor plan of the subject property. So you can see here just a breakdown of what the space is. So some office space, cooler space like the previous property. And then pages 8 and 9 is the income expense mailer. So this lease, as you can see here, the rental income they're generating is about $105,060. And I believe the lease began in 2020 of June 1st, 2022, or 2020, I apologize. So that being said, I believe that concludes the presentation. I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Okay, questions, Mr. Story?
Yes, thank you, sir. So, Mr. Harling, this is another one where there was an order, correct? And that is not aligned to what the BA is being presented as today. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, that was the order. Yes, to correct. Yeah.
Okay, and to be very clear, and you had mentioned quite rightly in that income and expense mailer, they're indicating well, it's $8,755 per month. I think you said that's just over 105 or so annually, and by my calculation, that would equate to $425 a foot, correct?
That would be on a per square foot basis, correct?
Yeah, and the order, correct me if I'm wrong, but the order would indicate that the rent is $450 based on the applicant's submission. Is that your understanding as well?
I didn't have a chance to look at the brief, but that's from my understanding, yes.
Okay, and a number of these rental comps were indeed submitted in support of the realty. So effectively, these have been taken to the board. They've been sort of asked and answered. Is that a fair comment?
I'd say the vast majority of them. There are a few different ones, but yes, the vast majority, yes.
Okay. I think that, and I guess the question is, was that realty decision appealed by the city?
Again, to my knowledge, I'm not aware. I don't believe it has, but I don't have that knowledge. But from my understanding, so at this time, I apologize. I don't have that information. So, but I don't believe so, but I can't say for certain. So,
okay, no, that's fine. Thank you, Mr. Harling. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Those are my questions.
Okay, questions, Ms. Knight?
No.
Ms. Stevens?
No, thank you.
Okay, I have no questions.
Actually, I do have one question, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Of your comparables, which one is closest to Dugald?
The closest one would probably be, if I had to say, well, 333 Debates would be closest in the St. Bon's Industrial Park. It's a bit newer though. And then there's, yeah, I guess that would be the closest if I had to say, I guess maybe the Hoka 64 and 84 Hoka.
Yeah, okay.
But, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Mr. Story, your presentation then.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, sir. So once again, we are at 2049 Dugald. And I will point out once again, Mr. Chair, that this file was heard in the context of the realty appeal in January of 2025, so not all that long ago. And the decision was based on our applicant's submission that included a rental rate of $4.50. Now the actual contract rent is $4.25 at the reference date. So our agent, Mr. Slaughter, adjusted that to $4.50. It does rent on the lower range, I would suggest to you, but it is a lease in place, and it is, Mr. Harling is quite right, it does run from 2020 through 2023, but it also has an option to renew in 23. So if one were to purchase that property under the terms of that lease at the reference date, they would certainly be looking at another 3 years of rents in the range of $4.25. So despite the fact that the contract rent is slightly lower, we have applied the exact same rental rate that was applied and accepted by the board in the context of the realty appeal. Now I've included some of the details on the property. I've included all of the rental comps that were put to the board. So the information is exactly the same. And based on that, we see no reason why the rental rate applied in the realty appeal ought not to apply to the business assessment as well. So using $4.50 with full finishing on for heat, hydro, and water, and with an adjusted air conditioned space of 1,257, presumably just the office space, that leads us to a revised and rounded ARV of 169,500. Once again, that's 169,500, and it is based on that 450 per foot. I've included the excerpts from, once again, as that were submitted as part of the realty for both the applicant and the city. The applicant's calculation is on page 12. You can see that 450 was actually highlighted as part of the submission to the realty. I simply clipped it from that document and included it here. And you can see that the board's order of $1,370,000 in the context of the realty was based on the evidence presented by the applicant. You have the applicant's calculation. It does square with our request to adjust to $450 per foot, Mr. Chair, and therefore we do request that the business assessment for 2025 not exceed 169,500 in order for it to for the realty and the business assessment to be aligned. So that is my presentation, and I thank you.
Okay, questions, Mr. Harling?
Just maybe one or two, just quick ones here. So yeah, no, I'm mindful of everything you indicated, Mr. Storkin's decision and everything like that. I was just maybe if you can use some context. So I'm mindful of the contract rent or the lease in places at 425. So I guess I was just curious, what was the reasoning for using the 450 opposed to, let's say, the contract rent, I guess, or? Yeah,
so I would be speculating. I didn't actually go back and watch sections of this hearing as I did for the previous file, but I presume that we, and again, this is my assumption, so I'm not speaking with full certainty here, but I would presume that on review of the rents and with consideration to the contract rent, you can see that some of those comps that were applied are slightly higher, but then there are some, well, they're just a touch higher than the contract. So I presume that there was an adjustment from that 425 to 450. However, I think that it would have been reasonable to apply 425, but the agent in this context, I suppose, made a discretionary adjustment upward to 450. But the complete rationale, based on the fact that it was another agent, I can't speak to with great full certainty, but I presume that is likely the case. Okay.
I guess I just wasn't sure because I was thinking maybe it's potentially because I mean I'm mindful you're right. That some of the comparables are lower too. So, but would it be maybe a fair kind of a statement to say that maybe the contract rent may be slightly below market, possibly then, I guess, or?
Well, I think it's within market, and I think we have to be careful because sometimes we see these very, very high rents, and sometimes we see very low rents. So we have to sort of accept that if we look at averages, the very nature of an average is that you're going to have some inputs that are above what you would expect to see and some that are slightly below. So I think that in the grand ecosystem of our rents that we review, this may be a bit low, but it is a contract rent, and it is a contract rent with an extension that extends beyond our reference date. So from that perspective, I think we've been very reasonable by adjusting it up slightly, and I think it is on the lower end, but I don't think it's fair to say it's below market, but certainly it is on the lower end, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's the other questions I have then. Thank you.
Okay, questions, Ms. Stevens?
Mr. Story, this is an older building, correct?
Yes, indeed it is.
And
Yes.
do you know the condition at all?
I have not had the opportunity to inspect it, but I can tell you, Ms. Stevens, that it is a tilt up sort of, or not tilt up, but a rigid steel construction. It's on Dugald, so it is. I would assume without inspecting it that it would be considered more of a functional building. So it is a bit older. Quality of construction is not the modern standard, but without inspecting it, I can't really speak to the condition.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ms. Knight.
Just on your comparables, that the closest one would be which street?
That's a good question. Well, Hoka obviously would be, Hoka would be the closest one. That's Transcona.
The other ones really aren't around there, right?
No, those are
Sturgeon, Midland, Dublin, they're way over Mountain, Kernahan.
Yeah, so those would be, we've got some in the Inkster Industrial Park, and then we've got some in Old St. James. But again, I wanted to ensure that I presented the exact same comps that were put to the board in making their decision in the realty. Right. So this is what was presented. So I am standing by that. But you're quite right. We have extended beyond the specific market region to include some other sections of called the North and West. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, and I have no other questions that haven't been asked and answered. So thank you very much. We've now heard all items on today's agenda, and this hearing is now adjourned. Again, thank you for your capable presentations.
Thank you, everyone.
And happy Easter.
Yep.
Happy Easter.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good weekend.
Everybody. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'll take us offline. Just a moment, please.
Okay.